Do you want to get the most out of your PR firm or publicist? Try showing a little empathy with your team and see how it leads to better results. Many experienced entrepreneurs and salespeople, they know the value of empathy, but unfortunately, when it comes to outside vendors, it's frequently forgotten. I've observed and experienced this inside and outside of the PR business. As a former executive producer with NBC, I always showed empathy with my producers and reporters because I genuinely felt their pain. I recognized when employees needed a break to recharge their mind and body, or when a family issue needed time outside of work. It might not have been financially aligned with the corporate spreadsheet, but it always inspired more productivity and loyalty. Plus, it was the right thing to do. In this era of tight employment and waning worker loyalty, empathy needs to be on a higher level. You can't fake it because workers will see through it. Unfortunately, when it comes to hiring an outside PR firm or publicist, we don't get to experience empathy until after the contract is signed. Over the last decade of running this agency, I've seen how clients who value our work with the spreadsheet are typically the most difficult. They ignite more stress. In the worst situations, they believe they know more about the media than us. Here's a closer look at some of the warning signs that suggest you might need to do an empathy check. And if you have empathy, trust me, the best PR firms will always want to work with you, and usually at a lower price. Here are some of the bad omens. Potential clients expect unreasonable timelines. This approach can reveal so much more before any contract is signed. If a potential client tells me they want to see results in the first week, I start to question how well they understand PR. And if they don't understand the PR process, they will inevitably get frustrated or upset when the real world kicks in. This approach also applies to how early a client begins looking for help. I've had potential clients tell me they are 9 months away from making a decision, yet they want an hour of my time today. In simple terms, they're shopping around. I usually tell these clients to get back to me when they are closer to deciding their launch date. A lot can change over 6 months, especially in this volatile economic climate. There's another more nuanced and indirect effect from this approach. Expectations are typically never aligned on day one, leading to miscommunication and unrealistic expectations over time. A strategy conversation today will change very likely in 6 months, especially for a startup. Here's a good omen to keep an eye out for. I had a potential client email me last month saying he wanted us to launch a campaign in 2 days. He tied it to the Fed announcement. His email said, "If you want to show you have good connections, can you place me on CNBC, Fox Business, and Bloomberg in that order on the priority of the morning?" End quote. First off, connections don't lead to media placements. Great story angles get you coverage. And you can't explain a complicated ETF fund or story angle without a conversation. The fact that he emailed me to get him coverage in 2 days without explaining the fund suggested he didn't understand the complexities of PR. 10 years ago, I might have pushed for a phone call to learn more. Today, I'd rather spend that valuable time with my son and work with a client who actually appreciates the value and relationship of our agency. In fact, I'd probably even give them a better rate if I knew that they were going to bring less stress and make our lives easier.